Okay. All right. So what we will do today is basically we will finish off the last two regions of the MOS operation, and then we will begin um, with the contact potentials and the concept of that. So yeah, in our previous lecture, we essentially went through all the different regions of MOS operation. So we are almost done with the first one. The second one is something which we will deal today. All right. So the flat band condition, we all know that is an idealized situation. It's kind of practically impossible for us to achieve that because there is not, I mean, there are no metals or which are essentially having the same work function as that of the semiconductor. Here in this case, silicon. So we are always going to have a discrepancy in this energy level of the Fermi energy level over here, Fermi energy level of the metal, EFM, and the EF of the semiconductor. They are never going to be aligned in reality. Okay. So that zero error, even before you start applying the biases, they will always be having some differences in the Fermi energy level. They will never be aligned. Okay. So that difference will be the flat band voltage, which we will see later on after we complete the modes of operation. Okay. So notice that this is the second, I think the third lecture on MOS operation. In the first, we had seen where we began with the, the fluid dynamical analog for the MOS operation, right? So that itself gave us a quite a bit of physical insight into the MOS operation in the first place. Second thing is, again, this is also kind of sort of physical. We have not begun with the proper mathematical modeling of the MOSFET as of now. From the very fundamental principles which we already know concerning the um, free carrier concentration for equilibrium statistics and all, whatever we have done previously in this course, just by applying those fundamental principles, we could realize that under certain conditions of the biases over here, at one point of time, you are going to attract more holes towards the surface, and effectively, you will raise the EI, EC, and EV above the EC, EI, and EV at the in the bulk. Okay, so the surface potential becomes negative. All this we have studied. So in that case, it was accumulation region. So when we are applying a positive bias, then positive bias where positive VGB. So that means the gate is more positive with respect to the bulk. So it can happen. I mean, it is quite possible that you apply -5 volts over here and you apply a -3 volts over here. Then also you are going to have the same kind of phenomenon. Okay. So if all that matters is how much positive the gate terminal is with respect to the body terminal. Okay, that's all. All right. So we have then later on investigated the first one is depletion region, then intrinsic condition, not region anymore, then weak inversion region, then the onset of moderate inversion condition when phi s equal to 2 phi f. Now I'll tell you something very important over here before we go beyond this, is that in the standard BTech level textbooks where people will be dealing only with large devices, like more in the microelectronic regime, although this course is also about microelectronic regime, but still PMMD, physics and modeling of microelectronic devices, but still I'm essentially trying to teach you more towards the nanoelectronic device modeling. Okay, so in nanoelectronics, um, things will be slightly more kind of added. I mean, new concepts will be added to the theory which we already know. So in BTech, we have seen this relation, right? Phi s is equal to 2 phi f as the onset of strong inversion, right? We used to say that phi s greater than or equal to 2 phi f means it is under strong inversion. So, well, strong inversion for 350 nanometer MOSFET. But when we are speaking about, let us say, 45 nanometer MOSFET, then this is not sufficient for strong inversion. It is, of course, moderate inversion. Okay. Then what is the moderate inversion region? So that is the, as I told you, that is the onset of moderate inversion condition. That means phi s equal to 2 phi f. So when phi s is greater than 2 phi f and phi s is less than 2 phi f plus 324 phi t, this is kind of very important. This is the latest modeling approach of MOSFETs, which are kind of important for us to know in the nano electronics devices and nano electronics circuits. Why is it 3 to 4 times of phi t? Remember, phi t is how much? 26 millivolt at 300 Kelvin, right? So whenever we say this is 26 millivolt, thrice of that, so it will be like 78 millivolts से लेकर 4 times is roughly 100 millivolts. Okay, let us say. So this much amount of voltage. Now this we are speaking about in terms of the voltage because phi f is the Fermi potential, right? So this much amount of voltage is still allowed for the surface potential to be in the moderate inversion region. Why is that? I'll make it clear. So before we go into the specific importance of the 324 phi t, let me first go by the standard way and let us investigate what is going on over here. So at the onset of moderate inversion, we had seen that the bands will be bent like that, where the surface potential is 2 phi f. That part is clear to everybody. Awesome. Now it has increased, right? So phi s will be somewhat, let us say, somewhat like this. Okay, and the rest of the places will be rest of the uh, bands will essentially bend exactly similar fashion. Remember, they are always parallel, right? Okay, na? So now what will be the range? So from here, sorry, until here. So this is going to be your, let us say, the phi s surface potential, right? So surface potential is greater than the 2 phi f. Okay. Now, what does it essentially mean? Clearly, if you go by the formula, you can clearly understand that n0 is now greater than Na. So what does it mean? That the surface, earlier it was as much n type as bulk is p type. Now the surface is more n type than the bulk. Okay. Now, um, what is the specific significance of special significance of this scenario? That you have essentially without doping, please understand that you have simply doped the substrate, but because of this field effect, whatever is happening over here, this field effect phenomenon, we have essentially been able to induce the induce the fields in such a manner that the surface has become more n-type than the bulk. Remember, the bulk is doped with Na, right? Acceptor impurities. All right. Now, what is this particular condition of this 324 This has got to do with your circuit applications. Now, please remember that whatever we have been showing it over here, these are with respect to the energy bands or the band bending at the time of various inversion, depletion, or whatever, different modes of MOSFET operation. Okay, na? Now, the point is that when you are actually applying this theory to the circuits, okay, so what does it essentially mean? Now, everybody please pay attention. Why is 324 important? This is a very new concept which I'm going to share with you. Notice that when we are essentially having uh, the IV characteristics, all right, I, ID, VG. Please note one very important thing that you must keep in mind is that we are essentially discussing about a MOS capacitor here. Later on, you will be able to connect the dots with VGS. So um, let us take the practical situation where source and the body terminals are shorted together. That means there will be no body effect. The body effect we will learn in a much better way in the next few classes. So anyway, um, The reason why I want to emphasize is 3 to 4 5T. This is very important. Hmm? Remember, what I told earlier is that onset of moderate inversion. The thing you should keep in mind is that we are not looking at devices in this course just as a physics, material physics or something. We are essentially looking into devices as a circuit component. Okay, that's the most important part. So this is basically the IDVGS characteristics of the MOSFET. All right. So now notice that IDVGS characteristics, how does it look like? There will be one VT. This is 0, of course. And after that, which region of operation? Saturation, we all know. And beyond this voltage, what is this voltage? VDS plus VT. Okay. After that, it becomes linear. So let us draw it linear. Okay. So this part, this is the linear region. This part here is the saturation region. In this part over here, people will usually call it as, let us say, cutoff. But what I prefer, sub VT, that is sub threshold. All right. So now, remember, I am essentially plotting it in the linear scale. This is to be remembered. Okay, ये linear scale है. अगर आप log scale लिखोगे, then it will be kind of a different perspective, and over there you will be essentially finding that the current in the subthreshold region is actually linear in the log scale. So that means it is an exponential variation. We will look into subthreshold conduction later on. So this is a standard one which we know. Now, why we are essentially speaking about 3245T? Notice that when we are essentially speaking about MOSFETs for digital application, please note, जब हम डिजिटल एप्लीकेशन के लिए करते हैं ना, तब रेजिस्टेंस, दैट इज द आर ऑन रेजिस्टेंस, किस रीजन के लिए डिफाइंड होता है? आर ऑन इन डिजिटल सर्किट्स, डिजिटल आईसीज. You have all done digital integrated circuits like VLSI, right? VLSI design. Who will tell me? R on is dependent on the saturation region or linear region of operation?
Linear region.
Absolutely, very good, excellent. So now if it is defined for the linear region of operation, then the linear region happens over here, right? In the IDVG curve. So notice that if you essentially draw the same slope, remember this is the linear region. So linear regions mean it will be a straight line from this point until this point. It will be kind of a straight line. Okay? So this is a linear. That is the reason why we call it as a linear region also. So अच्छा, ये linear region अगर है, तो यहाँ पर अगर हम if we draw the tangent, basically what will happen? The same slope will essentially come and essentially hit somewhere here. Makes sense? But we defined VT. What did we define originally as the VT? VT is the point where current starts to flow. So that definition of VT, the standard definition of VT, is from the device physics perspective, which is essentially coming from this one, phi s equal to 2 phi f. That is perfectly fine. That means onset of moderate inversion. Onset of moderate inversion means the surface is as much n-type as bulk is p-type. This is how you define inversion of the channel. This is the formal definition of the term which is called inversion. Inversion क्यों कह रहे हैं? Inversion means you are inverting, as if you are inverting the polarity of the surface. That means the surface is as much n-type as the bulk is p-type. So this is the formal definition. Let me just use the term formal also. This is sort of the formal definition of the term inversion. Okay, so whenever we are saying that, okay, this MOSFET is, the channel is inverted, it simply means that the surface is as much n-type as the bulk is p-type, or vice versa, as much p-type as bulk is n-type, something like that. Okay, so this is the case of inversion. So we essentially define from device physics perspective, we define that threshold voltage is the point where the channel is formed, because channel form होने के बाद ही तो आपका current जाएगा, right? So the currents, if you notice, the currents have started to appear quote unquote appear in the linear scale. देखो, this is now, it will become clear. Like this, and this will become clear why textbooks like Streetman Banerjee, Nieman, and then let us say Piret, these kind of textbooks which are kind of oriented towards BTech level, over there phi s equal to 2 phi f has been considered as the phi s greater than or equal to 2 phi f is considered as the condition for strong inversion, but that is not going to be true in modern technology. So this is the reason why. So the thing is, when it is after VT only, we will notice that we can actually see some current going up. Okay, but in modern devices, in modern technology, we essentially don't bother about this linear. We essentially bother about the log scale. So if it is a log scale, then the same. Okay, let me draw it on the same axis. That will be better. The same characteristics will look something like this. Okay, so this is the log. So I'll just put here log in red color. Okay, in the log scale, it will appear something like this. So notice that until Vt here, it is like a linear line, linear region. So linear in the log scale means, okay, it's something like this. Log of id is constant k. Therefore, id is equal to what? It's it's not, it's basically an exponential term. Okay, so what we will later on notice that the subthreshold conduction is exponential. Okay, just like diodes. All right, so this is the linear, and then it will become flattened out. Now notice what I wanted to tell you is, yeah, so at Vt, beyond Vt, you will find that there is a huge amount of current which is still going on, but it is not visible in the linear scale, because in the linear scale the variation will be, let us say, how much, 0 से लेकर आप कितने करोगे, like 50 microamps तक करोगे. So whatever it is in the linear scale means this entire range will essentially be in microampere order. So in the log scale, on the other hand, we are essentially extending this range to several orders of magnitude. And that is the reason why we understand, we observe is that the subthreshold conduction is also going to have a substantial amount of current, which can essentially help in the circuit designs also for low power circuits, which we will look into it in the next semester. Now, when we are speaking about the subthreshold, clearly the previous definition of VT, VT हम क्या कहते थे? VT is the minimum voltage VGS required when the MOSFET starts conducting. Hello, hello, look. Now listen to what you are trying to tell about, or what I'm trying to, how I'm trying to define VT. VT is basically the minimum VGS required where the MOSFET starts to conduct. This is now not valid anymore, right? Because the MOSFET is still conducting in the subthreshold region. The fact is you don't see it because you are observing in the linear scale. So historically there has been a problem with that. Okay, and previously what people used to do is, okay, this is only the leakage current, so we don't have to bother. But in modern technology, the circuits are essentially designed in the subthreshold region only. Okay, so in modern technology we cannot go by the definition of threshold voltage which was given in 1970s by Streetman or Nieman. Those are very old books basically. So we cannot go by the same definition. So what we rather say is that Vt, you can define Vt as is the point where there is a change in the conduction mechanism. Later on we will understand that the subthreshold is only because of diffusion. Beyond subthreshold it is because of drift. We will look into those drift and diffusion components later. So in reality, when you are trying to design a circuit, अब सोच लो, जब हम circuit design करते हैं ना, then we will prefer to overestimate the VT. So first thing that we have learned is the original definition of VT fails in the modern devices. Number one, because the original definition of VT was the minimum VGS where the MOSFET starts to conduct. That means current is non-zero. Come on, current is non-zero It's not zero in modern devices. There will be subthreshold conduction. So basically that definition, original definition of Vt does not exist. That's number one. Second thing is that, so what should be the value of Vt? You can essentially define that Vt is the point where the slopes of these two curves essentially intersect. उसके भी निकालने का एक दूसरा तरीका है using the GM method, but we will look into that later. So the what industry does is, what is the industrial standard is that you simply find out the slope of the curve beyond this VDS plus VT. That means when it is in the linear region. Because remember, this slope, what is this slope? This is nothing other than क्या है? 1 upon R on. Like many of you already told me that R on for digital ICs are essentially defined by the ohmic region, like linear region. Now, and the reason why most of these device technologies are driven by digital circuit is because digital circuits require scaling. Okay, because digital circuits, digital ICs, in fact, for example, Saroj sir, and there are many people who are interested in analog IC designs. Of course, I do analog IC designs myself, but I'm mostly interested into digital because in digital, the complexity of digital ICs are not primarily on the digital ICs, but on the devices which you make. You, for example, if you want to have, if you want to design, let us say, i9 processor, okay, or Snapdragon or these kind of latest technology processors, then the thing is, you want to incorporate more number of components inside the chip, right? So that means you have to scale the device. So that means scaling becomes an important factor in terms of the performance of the digital IC. It will essentially reduce the power consumption. So basically the challenges in the devices essentially creep up into digital ICs much more than in analog ICs. In analog ICs, basically we don't even bother. In fact, scaling the device deteriorates the analog performance. Please note that. Scaling deteriorates analog performance, whereas scaling enhances digital performance. You can write it down. So scaling, device scaling improves digital performance, whereas device scaling deteriorates analog performance. So that is the reason why, except the fact that we need to have more number of transistors inside the analog ICs, so that's why we would prefer to use smaller devices. Apart from that aspect, we usually do not bother about making these devices very small. So if somebody tells that, okay, I have one 7 nanometer op amp, I mean an op amp made with 7 nanometer FinFETs and an op amp which is made with 180 nanometer FinFETs, 180 nanometer devices. Okay, I will always go by 180 nanometers. Okay, if size is not a factor, because anyway I'm using an op amp, right? So this 180 nanometer device wala op amp will be more robust. It will be providing us with I mean there are many advantages. We will look into it as we go along. Okay, especially in if I'm teaching advanced VLSI design course next semester, I will go through all this. So if you are trying to make an analog IC design, for example, especially more so in the RF field, okay, so RF microelectronics field, we never go beyond 180 nanometers. No point at all. In fact, that will deteriorate the circuit performance. Whereas in advanced VLSI design, I am going to push from 7 nanometers to even lower. So what I'm trying to drive at, the whole summary of this discussion is that the technology driver are the processor technology. Okay, so for example, when we say 7 nanometer technology, 5 nanometer technology, these are all driven, these kind of scaling is driven by the processors. Intel started with the scaling. Okay, TI analog chips never drove the device scaling, never. It never mattered to them. Okay, for example, many of our professors in our department, you will notice they are working with sensor technology. The sensors standard will be 50 micrometer sensors. 50 micrometer, can you believe this? And in my field, in my research area, 45 nanometer is obsolete. IEEE transactions, they are not interested in 45 nanometer. GOT-FITs anymore. They are telling that at least make it 7 nanometer GOT-FITs. Whereas the professors in our department who are essentially working on, say, material science, material science means the sensors basically. Whoever is working on sensors, they are happily publishing in transactions using 50 micron. Okay, because they do not drive the technology. Whereas if I can publish one paper in 7 nanometer, industry will be interested because that will be an industry driver. That will be a technology driver in the industry. Okay, so if you can push in like current technology driver is 5 nanometer technology node. So if I can make one 5 nanometer, let us say GOT-FET, gate overlap tunnel FETs, that will be a technology driver. Industry will basically jump into it. 50 micron, so basically that's, I mean, I do not know who is interested. Okay, so yeah, somebody, yeah, if
Yes, sir.
yes,
Hello.
yes, please tell me. Yeah,
Uh, Sir, if there is an sub-threshold conduction, then
yes,
the red line you have drawn,
yes.
at VGS is equal to 0, there should be some value. Or,
Yes, yes, that is called the off current. Oh,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
We will look into this.
Okay.
Basically, there will be a long discussion on this. In fact, this is the starting point of gate overlap tunnel FETs. So, starting from tunnel FETs. So, those of you who have joined in my research group, I will essentially kind of give you a full. I will take a separate class on this, basically. So, tunnel FET concept essentially begins on this. So, um, okay, I do not want to go into all those details right now, because that is not the concern of the PMMD course as such. But um, this is something which is to be kept in mind. So previously, in the like 50 years ago, 1970, 80, that time in the microelectronic regime, microelectronic era, let us say, in that case, we used to say that VGS less than VT means ID is equal to 0. So this is how you have designed your VLSI design, right? This is what you have been dealing with. Correct. We used to say that ID is equal to 0 for all VGS less than VT. Correct. So that means we used to say that the transistor M1 is in cutoff, right? ये cutoff वाला concept उसी समय था. People used to call it as cutoff. That means it is not conducting. Whereas what we notice, as Akash has rightly pointed out, when VGS equal to 0, you actually have some current there. It's not 0, but this I of is essentially 10 to the power of, usually in case of MOSFET, it is 10 to the power of minus 9 amperes. That means in the order of 1 nano ampere. Okay, so what does it mean? That means, just imagine, you are essentially keeping your device, your smartphone, in the standby mode. Okay, you are not switching at all. That means your VGS variation is actually 0. There is no VGS at all. Even then, it is going to leak out this amount of current. And this essentially leads to power leakage. We will be uh, dealing with this in much more um, kind of, the entire course is basically on this. So this is the leakage power, or it is called off current, as I have shown you. Okay, so if we go by the earlier definition of VLSI design, whatever you are learning, let us say in VLSI design course Sayed sir is teaching you, in that perspective, for the old devices we used to say that current is 0, so there is no leakage at all, है ना? But leakage is a major very big issue in modern technology, what Akash has rightly pointed out. We are going to
So,
go into this in next semester.
hello.
Question,
Yes,
yes,
sir.
Mimangshu.
So,
Sir,
VGS
in
is
digital IC, we are using a linear region
Yeah.
and modern devices uses sub-threshold region. So my question is, sir, today's digital IC which we are using, sir, they are running in sub-threshold region or still we are using
Uh,
linear region?
no, basically what I'll tell you, whenever we are designing circuits, so I do not know whether it was discussed. Whenever we design any ICs in modern world, we will essentially design for 3 different technologies. Did I tell you this? LP, HP, and LSTP. I think I told you in the class. Okay, so LP is for low power, low power applications. The other one is the high power or high performance applications. The other one is the LSTP, low standby power applications. So your smartphones fall under this category. Your laptops fall under this category. Low standby power. In fact, you will notice that in tablets, smartphones, and laptops, there is a standby mode. Did you notice that? If you simply close the monitor of the laptop, it will go into standby.
Yes.
Yeah, excellent. So that means this standby mode is, that means if you're keeping it in standby, it is supposed to have the least amount of power leakage, least amount of battery consumption. Okay? So the same thing is for your smartphone. For example, all of your smartphones are right now, for example, my smartphone is just right beside me, but my smartphone is now in standby, but it will wake up the moment it receives a signal or some notification or somebody calls or some, you understand, right, my point. So the point is, whenever it is in LSTP, it is going to consume the least amount of power. So that is the LSTP devices. High performance are the servers. Okay, for example, let us say IRCTC server. Okay, the server, the mainframes which are controlling the entire railway reservation in India. Then even better, YouTube servers, Google servers. Imagine the amount of, so there is no question of LSTP. They really require, I mean, kind of 0 degrees or 5 degrees Celsius temperature, so that they will be extremely cooled and really mainframes. That is for high performance. Okay, over there we don't bother about power reduction. We essentially have this HP. And then comes the low power. Why am I telling this again? Low power means specifically those applications which will be running on, let us say, um, if you design a calculator circuit using low power, you can essentially use it with the solar cell. Okay, so those are the LP or low power. For example, all of you, I mean, I do not know if you have it, you have not come to the campus. Once you come to the campus, you will be given smart cards as your ID cards. So in those ID cards, you will find there is a chip, and that chip is basically a low power chip. Okay, so now even the infrared is good enough to give all the details. Okay, why am I suddenly telling you all this? These three are the three different approaches of doing the design, whatever design you make. So it doesn't essentially mean that all the modern technology ICs are always made in subthreshold. No, not at all. For example, high performance, they are essentially made in the saturation region, the one which you are actually doing in VLSI design. Okay, because it has to sink in or drive the maximum power possible, maximum current possible. ठीक है ना? Because performance is of the concern over there. You have already done the sizing, right? I'm sure, transistor sizing.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, excellent. By the way, I will recommend all of you to what is it? Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have already uploaded the entire ADVD course lectures on my YouTube channel. So just go through it if you want. In fact, you will find a lot of analog also in that. But those are not at the BTech level, so it's not up to the mark of the MTech. So if I'm teaching advanced VLSI design next semester, I'm going to record and put it on YouTube again. Okay, so that is for the, any question, anyone?
Sir, I mean,
Yeah.
is this the reason why standard cell library consists of flavors with different VT and
Absolutely, absolutely. Who is that?
traditions?
That is absolutely right, Ashok. Yeah, absolutely right. So that means in standard templates and all this standard libraries, standard cell libraries, you will essentially find one, the LSTP variant, low power variant, high performance variant. You will, in fact, if you go to my website, you will find 7 nanometer high performance, 7 nanometer LSTP devices and all that. Okay, so in fact, if you go into those libraries, you will notice that the VT, they are all different. VDD, applied power supply, is also different. Okay, so coming back to what one of you had just asked, so that means if you are designing circuits for the low power, then I will be specifically interested for the subthreshold operation. Subthreshold operation matlab, no matter what happens, your VGS is never going to exceed VT. ठीक है ना? So the maximum VGS you can apply to the circuit is to each of the devices is VT. VT को आप, so essentially we will try to go very very close to VT but never reach actually VT. So what will happen is we are essentially, in fact, in those kind of circuits, you have to keep in mind that the current is exponential. We will look into subthreshold designs in the next semester, advanced VLSI design. ठीक है, तो अभी आप जो डिजाइन कर रहे हो वो लीनियर सैचुरेशन रीजन पे ना, that means linear region and the parabolic region, VOV square variation in saturation region. Whereas notice in the subthreshold, as I said, it is exponential. तो उस समय हम लोग एक्सपोनेंशियल करंट इक्वेशन को लेकर या सबथ्रेशोल्ड करंट इक्वेशन को लेकर हम डिजाइन करेंगे. ठीक है, सो दैट इज वेयर यू आर गोइंग टू मेक द क्यू पॉइंट. रिमेंबर द क्यू पॉइंट, क्विसेंट पॉइंट, DC point. So this DC point of your transistor operation will be put in the subthreshold region. ठीक है, everybody notice again, DC point की बात आ गई तो it will become even clearer. अभी मजा आएगा. देखो ID, VDS, these were the typical device characteristics. What do we do? Essentially we will put a load line and find out that okay, this is roughly in the middle. So basically if I want to make a simple class A amplifier, that means you are essentially trying to have the maximum swing at the output. You will preferably try to put the quiescent point in the middle of this particular intercepts. This is something known to everybody in Cedra Smith BTech level. Excellent. Acha. So if I want to design it in the subthreshold, where shall I put it? I mean, where shall I put the Q point? This is where you usually put it. And invariably what happens? This is your linear saturation boundary, the dashed lines. So the skew point happens to be in the saturation region. Okay. Now the point is, where would you like to have the Q point if you are in the subthreshold?
Near the origin.
Oh no, this is the load line. This is basically how much? This is VDD by RD. This is simply VDD. This is 0. The circuit I am speaking about is simply this. This is simple. I mean, simplest CS amplifier, resistive load. Near the origin कभी जा ही नहीं सकते ना. This is the load line. And this load line is defined by the power supply VDD and the RD. So 1 upon RD essentially defines the slope of this load line. कौन बोलेगा?
Point on load line with less current.
Sorry.
Point on the load line with less current.
Exactly. Where is that?
I mean,
Close to the close to the
VDS.
VDS axis, right? Now notice if all these are done in the linear scale again. So if you are trying to design the circuit using the standard Cedra Smith method, whichever you have learned in the microelectronic regime, that means in your BTech, that is not even applicable over here, because remember this is in linear ID. Linear ID means you cannot even capture currents in the subthreshold regime. Kyunki these are all linear ID. So that means this is basically microamperes. And the subthreshold happens in the less than microampere order. Therefore, I mean, you have to bias it somewhere here on the origin itself. So microelectronic designers will say that, okay, if you are putting a Q over here, you are not going to have any current. But in nanoelectronic designers will say, no, it is still possible. Okay. So the only thing is that we have to change from linear axis to the log scale and basically do the design. We will look into it in the next course. It is very, very interesting. But again, those will be valid. So you can clearly understand the currents will be less. So that is perfect for low power and LSTB designs. Low standby power. So if you want to make a circuit for your smartphones, it is preferred that if you can design the circuit in the subthreshold region. Okay? But if you are trying to design for a desktop computer, for a workstation, then definitely the one which you are studying is fine. So the whole objective of this course as well as the next course is essentially driven by the modern technology. So I want to keep myself state of the art. So basically this course as well as the courses which I'll take in the next sem, hopefully advanced VLSI design, over there, this course is all about state of the art devices. Next course will be about state of the art circuit design approaches. Okay. So over there we will look into sub-threshold designs. All right. Okay. So now why this 3 to 4 phi-t is important? 3 to 4 phi-t part is important because we want to overestimate the VT. Overestimate the VT. Kaise? Because as I told you, the technology driver are the digital circuits, not the analog ones. Sensors to bhul jao. Sensors simply, I mean, they don't, people, they don't even consider it as a technology. Okay. So basically the active region part. Okay. So our on resistance is essentially defined in the linear region. तो अगर ये linear region है, अगर इसी slope को आप extend कर दोगे, if you take a projection on the VGS axis, जहां पर वो cut करेगा, so I'll just use this here. Okay, जहां पर वो cut करेगा, that is essentially your VT. This we will call it as the extracted VT. We will look into that in details later. ये extracted VT हो गया. Okay, now extracted VT matlab this is the realistic VT which you will use for circuit designs. And then this difference, and which is this VT? This is defined by phi s equal to 2 phi f factor. So phi s equal to 2 phi f, the definition of VT that, okay, threshold voltage जहां पर current आता है, तो यही होगा ना? जितने जिस VGS में करंट आ रहा है उसी को हम VT कहेंगे. So this basically phi s equal to 2 phi f, as we said. That is why we call it as onset of inversion या moderate inversion. Okay. So now the point is, this is basically आपका यही हो जाएगा from the definition of VT from a device engineer perspective. But from a circuit designer's perspective, what you will say? Okay, this is the on resistance. So therefore, this is the VT which the circuit designer will basically look into. So from any practical perspective of a technology driven digital circuit applications, आपका VT ये होगा, not this. क्योंकि एक सर्किट डिजाइनर के लिए उसको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता कि वहां पर क्या सरफेस, क्या मतलब फालतू का, मतलब सरफेस पोटेंशियल ये 2πf हो रहा है या नहीं हो रहा है, उससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता उनको. ओके, सो द सर्किट डिजाइनर्स दे आर ओनली कंसर्न कि हाँ मुझे VT बता दो ताकि मैं सर्किट डिजाइन कर सकूं. जस्ट टेल मी द VT सो दैट आई कैन सिंपली डिजाइन द सर्किट, दैट्स इट. So from that perspective, they will essentially look for an even more overestimated version of VT, so that if they say that, okay, yahan par VT hai, so they are pretty much sure then that if we apply a VGS close to this amount of VT, you have essentially achieved this R on. समझो इस बात को. If you are at this particular value of VGS and you say, okay, this is the VT या फिर this is the VT somewhere, then what is the situation? You are not going to have the same R on. But if you are considering that, okay, this is the VT, realistic VT which we are calculating, which we are using for our circuit designs, then you can be rest assured that your circuit is essentially going to, your device is going to offer you this particular slope. That means this particular value of R on. Getting me, everybody? It's very, very subtle. Many people don't know. Usually the device people don't know circuits, the circuits people don't know devices. I'm fortunate that I know both. So that's why I'm telling you, this is the reason why the best circuit designers in the world, they are very good in devices. Okay. In fact, this was something very interesting. When I joined the Swiss Federal, I came to know that the world's best watches, the Rolex watches, everyone knows about it, right? Rolex. The Swiss watches are the world's best ones. So when I was in Switzerland, I was not part of that project myself. But as I told you, I was kind of contributed to the EKV model, right? I was one of the team members of the EKV, the charge sharing model of the MOSFET. So this charge sharing model of the MOSFET Do you know how it came about? It came about in like 20, 30 years ago, that kind of time. Rolex watches, they figured out, and this is kind of inside story. This is kind of very interesting. Nothing to do with PMMD, okay? Some time off. Okay, Rolex watches ने क्या किया कि they gave a very like millions of euros project to Swiss Federal engineers and the Swiss Federal professors and all, because they wanted to ensure that Rolex watches, basically what happened is Rolex watches का जो management है, the management in Rolex watches, they found out that the sale of Rolex watches was becoming very, very less. And those are very expensive watches, right? Why is it less? Because from the customer, what is that called? Customer review? No, customer survey. Yeah. From the customer survey, the Rolex company found out that the customers are not interested to purchase Rolex watches because the batteries were very expensive. Okay, so basically if they are purchasing Rolex watches and the batteries will last for say 2 years or so, just like our any other Titan watch, then what happens is it was not very helpful for them. You purchase the Rolex watch with some $1,000 or so, and then essentially the battery expires in 2 years. Okay, then it's not worth it. So what Rolex did is they invested a huge amount of some billions of euros to the Swiss Federal, and their job was to design the MOSFETs in such a manner, the circuits of the Rolex watches should be made in such a manner, those ICs in the Rolex watches in such a manner that it is going to consume much lesser power. Okay, so I told you the EKV, right? Professor Enns, Professor Krumenascher, and Professor Witthaus. I essentially worked with them, mainly with Professor Enns. He is kind of world's one of the best analog circuit designers in the world. Okay, so I used to work with them, these fellows. So this EKV model, or the charge sharing model, what he did, they essentially, when they started working with the existing MOSFET model at that time was, as I told, BISIM model, Berkeley ka model hai, BISIM. So when they started with the BISIM model, they figured out that they could not capture, okay, the charge sharing, how much of charge is essentially shared by the source and the other, how much charge is shared by the drain. And that is why they could not figure out the loss in the charge. So and if they wanted to reduce the losses in the charge, then basically they are essentially trying to reduce that I off factor. I told you, no? ये I off को कम करना है, so that the leakage powers will be less. So leakage कम करने के लिए उसे charge sharing कितना हो रहा, they have to find out. Okay, but they found that BCM doesn't even explain that, and they were all circuits people. So they hired some stupid people like us who are like device they considered me as a device expert. So basically I was in that team. So what we did was we were essentially trying to develop one new device model itself which will capture those charges. So that was the beginning of that charge sharing model of the MOSFET. Okay, that was a clear enhancement from the BISIM. So a charge sharing model of the MOSFET, that is also called the EKV model of the MOSFET. So the reason why I'm telling you is that means you can understand that in the previous days, like long ago, like in Streetman's time and all that, physics used to drive the device models. Okay, so the physicists used to make devices. In modern technology, the circuit designers, the IC designers drive the device models. So that means if you want to develop the best possible circuits, then you need best possible device models. So basically circuit designers basically propose models nowadays. Okay? And notice one thing, another important thing is, okay, what you will be interested in that the project of Rolex that essentially lasted for I think 7 to 8 years. Okay, I contributed to the very fag end of the project. Okay, I joined much later. So 7 to 8 years of that project, and believe me, nowadays if you purchase those kind of Rolex watches, there is a guaranteed battery lifetime of 10 years. Okay, earlier which was like 1 year or 1.5 year में $1000 का $1000 का Rolex watch खत्म. It is a guaranteed battery life of 10 years. Okay, even the best possible, what is it called, digital watches don't give that much of battery life. Okay, so that was a success not of the Rolex watches, it's the success of the circuit designers who designed those chips. Okay, so what I'm suggesting is that this is how technology works. Okay, for example, we are trying to work on this GOT-FIT, gate overlap tunnel fits. Okay, we will learn about tunnel fit some other time. So the basic concept is that if we can essentially reduce the subthreshold slope, okay, that means if I can make it even sharper, what will happen? I mean, you will have lesser and lesser IOF, so the leakages will be less. So if we can essentially, this GOT-FIT, we are able to publish a few papers recently. Now, as we go along, once the GOT-FIT technology matures, then what will happen? Like Rolex watches, maybe in the 7-8 years, we will have GOT-FIT circuits, and those GOT-FIT circuits will go into your Samsung mobile phones, and the Samsung mobile phone, you will say, okay, the battery life is existing for 2 weeks rather than 2 days. Nowadays it lasts for 2 days. With GOT-FITs it will last for 2 weeks. Okay, so that is the whole point. That is how technology improves. Nobody will ever know who are the people who essentially did all that, but people like us only do it. People like you will do it. Okay, during my PhD I worked on i3 processors myself, i3 processor technology in Intel. So my project was kind of funded by them. So I worked with Intel for their i3 processors. One part of it, of course, it's nothing special. Okay, so think in those ways. So just to complete, so if you are trying to design for low power, या फिर smart cards and all that, ATM chips and all that, or else if you are trying to do LSTP, LP का ज़्यादा कुछ application नहीं है, but the modern technology driver is LSTP. At one point of time in the microelectronic regime, people used to think about high performance. Nowadays, nobody cares about high performance that much. If you need high performance, आपके पास बहुत सारे servers हैं. Nowadays, it is the technology driver is the power constraint. So the whole world is essentially thinking about how to make power banks obsolete, so to speak. Okay? I mean, you watch a movie and your smartphone power is gone in 2 hours. So how to reduce that? Okay, but other than that, if you notice, an iPhone or a kind of an expensive smartphone gives you very good performance anyway. So what is the bottleneck is the power. So आपके like whatever jobs you will be looking forward to is basically LSTP. So the devices which we are essentially designing here in this course, they are targeted towards LSTP applications. The circuits which we will be working with, almost the entirety of the advanced VLSI design course will be LSTP only. Okay, so I don't go for the HP, and that is the reason why I do not like the concept of cutoff. I will always write sub-threshold, because as I said, I'm always thinking in terms of LSTP. आपके स्मार्टफोन में सर्किट कैसा काम करेगा, आपके स्मार्टफोन में कैसा डिवाइस काम करेगा, इसलिए sub-threshold. Speak in terms of sub-threshold, not cutoff. Okay, awesome. So this 3 to 4 phi-t basically ensures that you are overestimating the VT by this much amount, which is roughly 0.1 to, this is around 0.075 to 0.1 volt, which is nothing but 3 to 4 phi-t. Okay, so we allow this much amount of margin for our circuit designs so that we can ensure that when the transistor is switched on, that means आप VGS VT से ज़्यादा कर रहे हो, automatically you are always getting the same on resistance. Okay, excellent. So the strong inversion region is pretty much clear to everybody. It's, I mean, understandable that when the phi s becomes, when the phi s or the surface potential exceeds this 2 phi f wala VT, This is 2 phi f, right? Phi s is equal to 2 phi f. 2 phi f plus 324 phi t. So that means like 2 phi f plus around 0.1 volt. तब आपका क्या आ जाएगा? You are actually getting this particular linear region, ठीक है? This particular slope in the device operation. So if you are getting this kind of a device operation, you are getting the R on, which you actually know in VLSI design. Okay, so if you want to achieve this R on, you need to have at least this VT dash or VT extracted value, the extrapolated VT. ठीक है? I think that's all for today. Any questions, anyone? I think this was a very, very good physical insight you have got, all of you, right? So from next class, we will essentially begin with the electrostatics of the MOS capacitor. And then we will essentially start modeling the behavior. Yeah, Ashok.
Sir, so this, I mean, we have extended this VT up to 0.07 to 1,
Yes.
0.1.
Yes.
So this is for to make circuit designers to have same
yeah.
R1, same R1.
Yes, exactly. Because remember, when you are designing the circuits, you are essentially looking into the MOS transistor as a transfer resistor. Okay, so whether it is giving you an R on resistance or it's like an open circuit, very high resistance, that is your concern. Okay, so as a circuit designer, you are mainly bothered about this red VT rather than this blue VT. The blue VT is essentially defined by the device designers, which you all know, phi s equal to 2 phi f. So as I told you the story about the BSIM, story about the Rolex watches and EKV. Similarly, the surface potential based model also think about this 3 to 4 phi t. This part was absent in the BSIM based modeling, which you already knew in your BTech. So BSIM based modeling, BSIM based MOSFET approach, MOSFET modeling approach was essentially valid for microelectronic devices, but not so much for the nanoelectronic devices. Okay. So in fact, what they have done, you will find that BSIM 3.3, there are various versions of BSIM. The version we will use even in Cadence is basically 3v3, that is 3.3. So after the version 3.3 of BSIM, people have essentially, the Berkeley people have incorporated these concepts of EKV and into that BSIM. So BSIM is right now, it's kind of a hybrid of many other models together. Okay. So as Akash, I think he told, no, last time, I think it was Akash only, that instead of making a piecewise linear MOSFET model, in Cadence, you will find that they have essentially used this, where this part from here to here, this part is simply a fitting model. In fact, BSIM is actually a fitting model. BSIM is not very physically or physics based, very accurate physics based model. Okay, they will essentially use fitting functions here and there, but that works pretty well, no problem. आपको तो circuit design करने से मतलब है ना. So from the physics perspective, we will go by the most robust way, that is a surface potential based model, which we are anyway learning now. Okay. Thank you so much for joining. I'll stop the recording here. I think it is really interesting.